Cocaine is derived from the leaves of the coca plant. When cocaine enters the body, it has a strong effect on body functions by acting as an irritant on the brain. Large overdose of cocaine causes convulsions, then death. Cocaine causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. In his ignorance, Marty took that there, little knowing the eventual horror that lay in the deadly white powder.
Marty, have you seen the painting shears I bought last week? Can't seem to find them anywhere. Marty, you don't see right. I'm worried about you. There's something wrong. I'm going to take you down to Dr.
Okay, here we are, we're live. I'm excited to this is a pilot, next level test episode. No expectations, okay? We're going to keep it simple and test out a bunch of things, and I'm going to get to the comments. It's live, so the point of being live is I encourage you to interact. Now, this is not going to be a typical old school KISS Recovery 101 because I got a co-host with the most. Chris is here. Chris, do you want to try saying hi?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Okay. Ooh, your volume is really low for me, so maybe I'm going to turn up my headphones. That could be it.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's mine or not.
We have one viewer. So don't be shy, say hi. I had an idea. Mostly I want to try and see if... Oh, I hear you fidget. You got a fidget?
Me?
I was yes, you. I can hear the background noise. It's live.
Oh,
So it's clicking, some clicking sounds. So next level up, and recovery. That's just what we're going with. But I have a clip, and usually I just play an audio clip. But I thought it'd be more fun to try out some newer, advanced stuff that StreamYard has nowadays, and give that a go. And we're gonna have a conversation about the Kleenex box. I was on a podcast on Friday. And let's see if this works. So, if it doesn't work though, luckily, I do have the audio. But I'm going to try to do some video. So, it's kind of like, let's see, I'm going to present, share screen. And I see it. It's up. It should be in the spot. Here we go. Oh, hopefully you can see that. Now, I don't have my phone, so I'm not sure what people see, but I'm only going to play a minute of this, and we're going to have a little conversation about this. Here we go.
I can't hear anything.
You're not hearing anything?
No.
Oh. Okay, we'll stop that. That's great. That's why this is a test episode. Okay, I'm going to back that up. I'm going to try that again. Exit full screen. Back to... Could you see the video?
No, I couldn't
And
see
you-
or hear anything. I'm looking on the YouTube channel, too, and I couldn't see or hear.
Dang it. Okay, well, I'm going back to old school. I'm reverting. Retreat. I'm going back to... I have the audio clip. So we're going to play this audio clip. Now... Chris, did you get a chance to... It was a 3-hour episode on Friday night. Attitude for Gratitude. Shout out. They are on YouTube. I'll make sure to post a link in the comments. Did you by chance catch that full episode? Especially at the end?
Catch the full. I came in late. I caught the middle, hour and a half of it.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm only going to play this minute clip, so it's just audio, but I want to get your thoughts on this because apparently the host with the most, Tim, had never heard this concept before. And where I originally got it, Sarah Jane and I, who was also a guest on that show, we went to a grief retreat / workshop thing over a weekend. And one of the main things that we went into a lot of circles, we went into a lot of breakout in-person rooms, and they had this thing about the Kleenex box. So Here's the clip. I'm going to play that and then we'll have a conversation about it. Hopefully you can let me know if you can't hear it. Because I know that something inside of me needs healing. And I'm not perfect either. Let me tell you, especially when Mama Bear comes out with my sisters I'm protecting or my children or anybody's children, I'm going to be reactive. But for the most part, like, I listen. It's so great because all that time I spent listening, I think that the second year of recovery, I was so excited talking. I enjoy now going to speaker meetings, going to any new meetings. I mean, when I'm not on a podcast and there's a microphone, believe it or not, I prefer to just listen and listen to hear. And the number one thing I sought probably my whole life was just for someone to hear me, not listen to fix me. That I think we've shared about this in our group too, is like when I come here and I'm shared about whatever's going on and I'm mad or sad or whatever, don't say anything. It sounds kind of mean, but like, I don't want you to say anything. I just need to get this out.
Right.
I don't want to answer questions. I don't want to talk about it again. I just need to get it out. Like the Kleenex box, like everyone's so upset that we don't pass around the Kleenex box anymore. We put it in the middle of the table because a lot of times, and I was one of those people, you push a Kleenex box in front of me, that means stop crying, shut it down. Where now we walk into the room, you have that Kleenex box in the you put it in the middle and it's there, but this is the space to cry. We want you to cry. We want you to feel free to let those tears out if you can finally let them out, you know. But I know if you shove a Kleenex box in my face, it means stop crying.
I never looked at it that way. I never realized that. Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was me being helpful to someone.
Right.
I never thought of it that way.
100%. That's instinctively what you want to do.
Yeah. So when I go bring a woman, someone or a guy, anyone crying, I go bring them a tissue. That's me telling her to stop their crying?
No, but they might take it that way. Yeah.
Shit, now I got to be careful about that.
If you grew up like I did, it'd be shut it down, stop crying.
Do that by yourself.
Mm-hmm. You're making me uncomfortable with your crying, so stop crying.
Why are you crying?
Yeah.
I don't need to be around it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Chris, first thoughts. Do you have any feedback on that whole concept of putting the Kleenex box in the middle? People are welcome to grab it. However, it's not offered like one-on-one. As soon as I notice when somebody starts crying, the nice thing, instinctively is, hand them a tissue. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm trying to process what we were just listening to because I didn't realize that was an audio clip and I thought you were just talking. That's why I kept hearing someone else. I was like, is there someone else that's doing this with us right now? Who's this other person that I'm hearing in the background? No, I know exactly what you're saying. I can relate to that. That's handing off the tissue is something I hadn't heard about either until you guys were talking about it and just hearing the clip now. So I like that. It's a good concept.
So as a man in this culture and society, would you say that you feel comfortable crying?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely do. I didn't always, but I do now. I used to bottle shit up all the time, and it never really turned out well. And people can't help you if you're masking. I mean, if you're sad to the point where you need to shed tears, that's probably also a point where you need at least your peers and loved ones to know what you're feeling. And if you're trying to hold that all back and not let it out, your odds are you're going to stay stuck in that place.
Right.
So I got comfortable with it real quick. Bottling things up was not the route that wasn't taking me anywhere productive.
I would agree. I feel like the way I grew up, crying wasn't allowed. I would get hit or punished and get something to cry about if I cried. So, and for having many years of that, even when I know I want to cry, even when I know it's healthy to cry, it's like I try to let it happen, and a lot of times it takes talking about it, playing a sad song over and over again before I can actually have physical tears. However, in many of the support meetings I've gone to, or just in a space one-on-one, I know it's intentionally so, just kind and just trying to be there for a person. But if someone gives me a Kleenex, it's like my brain goes to, oh, they're uncomfortable, they want you to stop crying, you need to stop crying. And it's like, it sucks for me, because if I break that barrier of being able to cry, it's almost like it's harder then it's almost like instinctively it gets buried more. So I do try to, like, in the spaces that I go, just kind of explain that a little bit, but it's so different that a lot of folks, it's not just it's not like easily, like, what do you mean? Like, that's confusing. And it's getting comfortable with people's uncomfortable emotions, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I will, okay, let's just do, so what I was thinking is, part of the things that I used to do when I would do KISS recovery is I would have a hot seat question. I would do 3 questions, but I didn't prepare any questions, because turns out there's actually a card game called Hot Seat, so I don't have to prepare anything. And what's nice is, as co-host, Chris, we're going to both answer the question, so I'm not going to put you in the hot seat alone. Are you down to answer a question randomly from this deck of hot seat questions?
Sure.
Okay, you're in for a treat. I have a sound effect. Did you hear that?
You can.
That's the hot fire sound. Okay, we're just going random here. I'm gonna not look. I'm taking this first. Hopefully it's not lame question. Chris, what is something you regret not having done yet in your life? Ooh.
Oh, something I regret not having done yet. Doing a podcast is something I kind of regretted not starting up, that I wanted to do for years and just never did. Regret not doing.
Okay, and what when you've thought about doing a podcast, do you have any podcasts that you follow or listen to, or like how they do things?
I don't. I haven't watched a lot of podcasts. I watch clips, like there's YouTube clips or whatever. I'll watch clips. I've never really sat down and gotten into a full-on podcast and listened regularly. But it's something that I would like to do. I think more than watch one, I guess. I know some. I mean, I can be all different kinds of links, I guess. But when they start to get long, it's hard for me to just sit and listen. Like audiobooks are another example. Like, I can't do audiobooks because I can't just sit and listen. Like, I have to participate. I have to. And so I've always thought, on the flip side of that, I would like to actually do the podcast, not just like listen and watch, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay. If I were to answer that question, I have what's called a fear bucket list right now. So there's a few things on there, but one thing on just my bucket list is I would like to complete a degree. If it's short-term certificates, I could do those. However, I feel like going all the way, there's this thing called self-sabotage that I need to explore. My therapist said she does not like that term, but it doesn't matter. The last time I went, I literally had all the supports and all the ADHD tools that, they allowed me extended time for homework and test taking, and I still wasn't able to, I still had to step away. Now, granted, I had my birth mom passed away, so I had a valid reason. Really, it was already piling on before that had happened, so I kind of took that as a way to just take space. Now it's been a year, and I'm going back in August, so we'll see how that works out. But I'm hoping to stay ahead of the struggle, or how challenged I seem to. I challenge myself. I get challenged, and try to prepare for that. Okay, let's do one more question, because tonight I'm thinking of just, again, this is a test pilot episode for you to get an idea of I want to record. I was hoping maybe I'll try to play another video clip. I was trying to test out some things just to see what you sound like. I want you to be familiar with what I have a microphone sounds like and what not a microphone sounds like. And just on the different platforms, I noticed too, visuals and such. Now, I'm not seeing any comments. I don't know if you are able to see. Are you on a laptop or are you on a cell phone?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm on my laptop.
Okay. And so you are not seeing, I don't know what you see. Like literally, I haven't been in the StreamYard platform dashboard for a while, but I'm not seeing, I can see the comments.
I see a square with our pictures in the middle, and they light up when we talk, and that's it.
Okay, interesting.
And when I'm looking at I have the YouTube channel one open too, just muted so I can see it, and so I can see the chat and stuff, and I don't see anything else. Just that's all I see.
Okay, interesting. Okay, but I am hearing a clicking sound. I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's my mouse. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time to share my screen. Now I have no idea where this episode is at. The only reason I'm sharing this episode or this particular is because I know I got permission. I have permission to use his stuff. YouTube is very much on the copyright stuff, so I'm going to try this again just because I know we're safe to try it. I have no idea where it is in the show right now. What do you see right now?
Same thing.
Okay.
With our picture.
You don't see... Did you see us move over to the side at all?
No.
I don't understand.
I saw something pop up that said something about live chat viewers or something at the bottom. Now I see it moving.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now. Okay. I see the window, but I don't see... You couldn't hear anything the last time, correct?
I heard the audio clip when you played it, and I realized it was the audio clip the second time you did it.
And what do you see anything right now?
I see our pictures moved over to the side, and they're smaller, and then I see a black screen.
Okay. I am very much not capable. Okay, here's Bridge. I figure I'm just gonna wing it. I'll be able to see it, and I don't need to. They have very nice. What is it called? Tutorial videos on how to utilize these brand new tools that they have. But I don't. It's not working here. Okay, I'm gonna try one last time. Just to see if we can share a video, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to let it go for this time, and then I have one more thing I was thinking of putting in. Well, I used to always do memes, so you're in luck, I only have 2 to share, but I do find that memes are a great tool for conversation, because it turns out a lot of times I'd show memes, I'd expect a certain reaction, and I wouldn't get that reaction because the person had a totally different view on it. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. And I wonder if it was only Zoom. Zoom, I feel like I'm very much able to... I'm a whiz at the Zoom. Okay, it says also share, tab audio. Okay. Oh, interesting. It doesn't seem to want to do that unless it's a Chrome tab. So maybe I have to go into...
That link you sent did say it has to be Chrome or Firefox. I don't know if that matters. I'm on Edge and it still works. But
that must be what it is. Okay. Well, I'm going to try it again with the tab. and go with a random part. Okay, this is the last time. I'm not going to keep doing this to you. Okay, it did pull up. Ooh, also share tab audio. Here we go. Let's see. Do you see anything?
Black screen.
View StreamYard. I don't know what to do. It's not working. Because I could see it in the little... How about now?
Something spinning and a little play button.
Okay, I see something.
On the YouTube channel, I can't see the play button. On StreamYard, I can see the play button. And if I click play, now I can see a shared screen of you insert. This is from where you guys were the other night, right?
Yes. Okay.
That's what I'm seeing right now, but it's not on the YouTube channel.
I wonder if I could just play it from here.
Oh, now it's on the YouTube channel.
Okay, I'm gonna try playing it. Okay. Let me
See if it plays.
That's wonderful. Okay, but I don't get out of my house much, Tim, okay? It's been a long time since I've been out.
All right.
And I've worn anything but a hoodie
And
and
if I'm
sweatpants.
driving the car, you'll never open the door for yourself.
But I literally have to have these things always in the back of my mind. Like, how far away do I have to walk? Is it going to be dark out? What am I wearing? Is that going to cause an issue?
Right.
And I think the whole concept behind the whole man or bear thing is this awareness that, of course, guys just don't know. You're born a male. You live your life as a male. I think this conversation is a great opportunity for awareness, because I feel like you just don't know what you don't know. But as a female, my whole life, I have to be mindful of my safety, because I might be too nice to a male and then I'm flirting. I guess I'm flirting and I'm giving him the wrong idea because I'm smiling too much or I'm being too nice. Like, I used to do a guerrilla marketing for Jimmy John's. Okay. And I would go out and I'd be giving away free sandwiches and I loved it. But he'd send me out like at night. He'd be wanting me to go out at St. Paul, and I'd say to the owner, I'm like, yeah, but it's nighttime and I can handle like the public, whatever. I got a lot of doing the marketing, and you can imagine the conversations of drunk college kids. He's like, well, what do you mean? Like, my other guys go out and do the marketing, for Jimmy John's at night. Why do you have a problem with it? I'm like, because I'm a female. And during the day, when there's a lot of people around, I'm okay with getting kickback of making the sexual jokes. At night by myself, I'm not okay with that, especially if there's multiple males only around. So I guess this is exactly why nobody talks about it, because it's real quiet in this room. But does anybody want to talk about it?
And be polite to you.
No, please. I want to know, okay, again, I've just been in a rabbit hole on this whole. There's some really great stuff out there on YouTube and concepts. I guess my hope is that if you're asked, especially as a male, or if you are if a female, if you ask a female, would you pick man or a bear? And she says, the bear. My hope is that you as men would say, why? Okay. Let's go from there. Hopefully that actually played. I can't wait to see what this looks like later. But had you heard of the bear or man concept before?
I've heard it, but I can't remember what it was. I always thought it was like a meme joke or a diss on the male gender.
Yes. That is the whole, misconception. I think, yeah. So what originally happened was there was a TikTok channel. It went around asking women randomly, if you were stuck in the middle of the woods, would you rather be stuck with a man or a bear? And so many people misunderstood the point. What most of the women actually said, the bear. And I remember the first time Sarah told me about this concept, I was confused. I'm like, well, I don't want to be mauled by a bear. Of course I would choose a man. But then I realized, I did some research because I wanted to understand what this whole concept was, And it turns out like they're bringing awareness about what, men, boys, males just don't, it's not your fault. Like you're not born with this fear that I myself, who identifies as female, have just always accepted that, especially if I don't know the male, but 9 times out of 10 it is a male I know, I have to be mindful and careful that I don't act in a way that might entice a male or whatever to act a certain way unintentionally. Like me being unintentionally enticing a man to, okay, I'm getting too rabbit holing out. But the point was that it's an awareness that there's so many, my brother, for example, or, I have many great male friends that just don't even realize that as a female, I have to be careful what I wear. I have to be careful what I say or what jokes I tell or don't tell. Like I know in certain friend groups, there's certain men that I won't go into any kind of sexual jokes because immediately I've noticed that it gets into a icky, inappropriate space where you, for example, I could, which I just don't because we tend to work together. I just don't go there, but I would feel safe, making that's what he said jokes, and I know that you're not going to be, come on to me, you know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of, I think what's worse for me, a lot of the research that I found, especially on YouTube, was that the females that just immediately went to the side of the guys without even understanding what the whole concept is about. It's an awareness to help women really come together and unite, I feel like, and be able to empower each other to speak up. And then what I did on the podcast on Friday was, especially my friends Tim, and now I'd say that guy Greg that was there, and Dwayne that was there, I wanted to let them know if they care about me or any of the women that they care about. It's a simple, just speaking up if you feel comfortable. Speaking up if you notice one of your fellow brothers or male, whatever, friends in your friend group is being inappropriate or, with a female, to speak up. Or one thing that I shared with Greg is like for years I had social anxiety. I don't do confrontations. And I said, even if you're at that point where you don't feel comfortable saying something to a friend because maybe he'll give you kickback, like it's as simple as not laughing at his jokes or walking away from a conversation. There doesn't need to be a confrontation, but I made a point, and I do believe this in life. You're a person, I am just as guilty by standing by and being silent and not doing anything when I see social injustices. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we got a comment, Chris. Link said, honestly, my experience with how most humans have treated me, I'd pick the bear. No one said the bear was aggressive, but there are people in my life who have hurt me physically and mentally. Wow. Ooh, nailed it. Lynx, I love what you just said. So Lynx just made a great point. So that's the thing, is this guy even showed a clip of the bear. Like one guy was like, it's stupid that women would choose that. Like you can't reason with the bear. And one of the guys that were pro understanding the female's perspective showed a clip of a bear trying to come up on someone's porch, and the woman's like, no, and she yelled and loud enough, and that bear left. It knew what to do. And his point was, yeah, you can reason with the bear, because bears are just instinctively natural animals. They're, survival instincts, and they're just going to do what they do. And the other side of it is that with, and it goes, I would say it was females too, but, with males, I would say I can tell you the statistics are now higher. 1 in 3 women on a global scale have either been sexually assaulted or had an attempt on them. So that's the underlying data that kind of speaks to the point. But my main point, Chris, that I'm going to shut up and let you talk, especially if you want to just kind of reference to what Lynx put in the chat or the comments, is I have 4 sons. Okay? And I'm trying to I want them to be the men that, in my life, I consider great human beings. And so if you ask a woman, would you pick the man or the bear? And she says the bear. First question would be, why'd you choose the bear? Because I guarantee there's a reason. There's probably lots of reasons behind that. But the second question would be an opportunity to step up and say, how can I help you with that? What can I do to be there for you? What can I do to support you? So that's a whole lot of things I'm throwing out there at you, Chris. 30 minutes here. What are your thoughts? I would love to get your perspective as a man that I respect and genuinely know has a great heart and genuinely cares about human beings.
I am definitely all about the message. I like the way that you said, because I didn't really understand what the metaphor was with that either. I honestly, I don't like it, really. I think I get why, but I feel like it generalizes the entire gender, and the comparison is so extreme that I feel like there's a better way to deliver that message instead of guys that aren't like that, hearing somebody say, yeah, I'd rather take my chances getting killed by a bear than with this guy who may or may not be. I guess that seems a bit extreme, and I might not be getting it either in the right way because I am a male, and there's an element of that I can't understand. But when I hear that, to me, it just, I don't know, exaggerated, extreme. I'm not sure what the right word would be, but I guess I'm not understanding why a bear and how those two tie into each other.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's not the point. The point is, it is. It's one of those, I think it's fantastic because it is an immediate, in your face. It kind of really, it shows who is knowledgeable on it, or who's maybe has a security with it, or who's just genuinely wants to get to know more about it. It's kind of like the whole controversy around, and still is controversial, Black Lives Matter. I know the first round against that was all lives matter. But the point of Black Lives Matter was to bring awareness to something very critically, important. And as females taking up half the world, I think it's a great in-your-face opportunity to have those in-depth conversations. And they are going to be hard, especially for me. I would say one of my exes is definitely that person that there was a lot of terrible, horrific backlash response videos that just proved the point of what women face every single day, is being called out crazy, being called out dramatic, being called out, oh, you're overthinking that. And then, even if I was wearing jeans, oh, my jeans were too tight. Oh, I actually had a friend tell me, hey, I think you came off as flirting with him. I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's like, you were smiling too much. I'm like, huh? And so it's I live in this, I constantly can't always be myself, especially around males that I don't know. But the main thing I think is they said, you don't get to pick which male, because a lot of female would be like, oh, well, if it was my dad or my brother, of course I would choose them. But that's not the point. The point is you don't get that choice. And, all is fair in love and war. Well, don't do the research, but there's terrible, terrible things that happen as a result of war. And the main victims, of course, are the women. Oh, Link's got some more comments here. She said, Link said, I've been SA by a man, and the most recent man I've dated has not physically hurt me, but he used my history, oh my gosh, yep, of SA to manipulate me. The argument is, would you rather take your chance? Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you I forgot to throw that in. Would you rather take your chance with a man or a wild animal? Both you know nothing about, but who has hurt you more often? And oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing that. And since Links, you're just going to be full disclosure, I'm also going to put full disclosure. I've also been a victim of SA. And unfortunately, because of what we're talking about right now, I did not feel comfortable telling anybody because I immediately went to blaming myself. I made the decision to be at that person's house. I made the decision to it's my friend, and I thought this or that. I should have had a better judgment of, this or that. So it's like instinctively, and then I did it right away. I didn't think anybody would believe me, or I'd have to prove myself, or I'd have to have evidence. And knowing that typically it's this terrible, I immediately have to explain why, I'm not at fault, if that makes sense, So yeah, it's a heavy conversation and we don't have to go there with it, but it was one thing that I really now am excited. I've brought it up with two of my older sons. Thank you, Lynx. Lynx said, thank you for sharing your history too. That is brave of you. And I think it's almost 10 times worse when it's male on male. But anyway, but I feel like this is such a great opportunity now with my two oldest boys and eventually my two youngest boys is to have that conversation with them, and get that opportunity to make that understanding if it makes sense. Like, again, I feel like I made an example. Have you seen Wild with Reese Witherspoon?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing book. Actually, the author, she's from Minneapolis, Minnesota, I believe. But they did a movie. And Reese Witherspoon, there's a scene literally where she's in the woods. She's doing this amazing trail, something Crest Trail. It's famous. And she's on this, like, journey, to find herself and to... it's beautiful. But there was a scene literally where she was in the woods. And a man came walking up on her. Actually, there was a couple scenes like that. And I know in that scene, I feel like I felt what she felt in that moment of fear. Instant fear, like, who is this? And what is he going to do? What does he want with me? And I don't know about you, Chris, but let's just reverse it around. If you're in the woods and doing your thing and a woman walks by and stops and says, hi, what's your first thought?
I don't know. I guess just curiosity. Is this person friendly? Do they want to talk? Do they? I don't know. Usually, someone randomly says hi to me. I just say hi back and see if they wanted something or if they're just saying hi.
Yeah. Yes, that's what it should be like with all of us, all human beings. And so yeah. Again, it's such a great underlined issue, and it's a great way to bring up this topic of just I want my boys to know that this exists, and that hopefully in the future this will change. But this has been, I think it's gotten better from where it used to be. I mean, at least I can vote these days. But it's like I'm hoping down the line, this awareness is just scratching the surface. So yeah. I feel like this conversation's one-sided. Do you want to go with the meat? You want to go with meme talk? I have sound effects for that, and I'm going to actually try to find the scene that I'm talking about. That I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but maybe next time, where she's in that woods and the guy comes upon her, because it kind of explains. I mean, it's just me. I very much am a body language person, facial expression person, and what I'm really actually paying attention to a movie, like I tap into all those things. So, okay, so here's a segment that I would do before. I called, this is the meme portion of the podcast. I would do this. So there's a sound effect. Hopefully it's not too loud, but I do the... Meme time, Chris. Sorry, I love those sound effects. Brings me back. X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and maybe next week I'll be able to figure out how to have some clips and more actual visuals and really great to the point of whatever topic. Because I do. That's one thing I love to do. Person with ADHD and autism, I like to research the rabbit holes, especially if I'm very interested in it. And I can bring up very clear points on both sides. That's the nice thing is I really got to see research both sides, and I totally get it. Okay, here we go. So meme, I got 3 memes. Let's start with the nice one. Can you see the meme, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to read it?
Yep. Why is happiness so elusive? Because you look for it in the future instead of the present.
What do you think of that one?
It's a good point. You don't really think of it that in terms like that unless you see, like you said, you see a meme like this and it creates a conversation. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's the first place your mind goes to when you're thinking of happiness. I know that I'm always thinking ahead. I'm trying to be 2 steps ahead all the time if I can, and that tends to take away from the present and focusing on what can I do right now instead of what can I do in 2 days.
Yeah.
And I think we all want happiness so bad that we try to break it down and simplify it, but happiness isn't easy to find, just like, it's part of life and it's difficult to find sometimes. And so sometimes just breaking it down to its basic element of what can I do right now that'll make me happy, like in this moment, even if that's get up and, cook a pizza. It could be something simple, maybe play a game. It can be literally that, not elusive if you look at it and break it down like that. But I think we're a nation of overthinkers, especially as peers. We're probably majority of overthinkers. And when
Definitely.
you start to overthink happiness, then it's going to automatically be elusive because we'll come up with things that make it elusive, even if it's irrational sometimes. And so it's,
Yeah. I agree 100%. Now this one's going to be controversial. I'm really hoping people don't get offended. I'm hoping open-minded. Here we go. It did make me laugh though. Okay. Do you want to read that one or do you want me to read it?
Religion is like a penis. It's okay to have one and be proud of it. But when you pull it out and start waving it around, then we have a problem.
So, what are your thoughts on that one?
Fair point. No, I agree.
Right?
I can respect it. As an agnostic, I can respect it. I was raised Lutheran, so I know a little bit about it at least. I've read a good chunk of the Bible, and so I get it. I respect it. Most of my friends probably are religious in one way or another, and so I get that. But it's when they start trying to convince me that I'm wrong and they're right that it's like, there's some things just you live and let live. Agree to disagree, and you can still be civil, that kind of thing. And I get it, as long as you're not, waving it in my face. You can talk about it, just don't push it. Don't.
Yeah.
You can challenge me without saying this is the right way. You're not correct, because that's a good way to shut me down.
Yeah, we can agree to disagree. And I just there's so many things about different religions that I find very interesting and beautiful and fascinating. But however, it's those folks that, they get real preachy and lectury and judgmental. And I'm like, isn't this the opposite of what your religion that I know about is representing? I'm confused. And, I like to have those conversations that, they're put on the table. Let's have a conversation about it. But when every conversation turns into some kind of, debate on what's right and what's wrong and morals, then I kind of get concerned about the mental health of my friend.
Right.
Okay, but spirituality, that's where it's at for me. I very much feel spiritual. And I very much have a power greater than myself, many powers greater than myself that I feel very connected with, and I don't need to preach about it. I just try to live it. Okay, last one. This one I feel like I'm still working on it, but I've really gotten pretty good at it, especially with the humans in my house, because my brain immediately wants to go into those first two. So we were looking at that broken egg, accountability 101. I love this meme because it really keeps it simple. So when I break the egg, the answer that's not correct is X'd out. It says, well, I meant well, Chris, but I still broke the egg, right? No, I meant well. Don't say that. Don't say that. And I break the egg. I'm not supposed to say, that wasn't my intention. I didn't mean to do that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Right? But I love the last one is exactly, that's to keep it simple. When I break an egg, I'm just supposed to say, I broke the egg. What are your thoughts on this meme?
I like that because I don't like excuses, and I can forgive and forget. But like, if it's, yeah, I may have hurt you, but like, I feel like the focus is more on the wrong part of the situation. If someone can just be like, you know what, I messed up. I'm going to focus on trying to not mess up like that going forward. I did break the egg, but I'm going to try to not break more eggs, at least in the same way. That kind of thing. I can say, all right, I respect that. Thank you. But if it's, well, I meant well, it's not what my intention was, then that makes me feel like I'm at fault for taking it wrong. And now all of a sudden I'm in the wrong for what now? Like, you know what I mean? It flips it. And I feel like I start to feel guilty, even though I might not even, or I shouldn't be. I don't like that should word, but,
Yeah. Yeah, don't should all over yourself. Oh my gosh. Yes, and I literally have to catch myself because, especially with, my children, I feel bad when I messed up. And the first thing I want to say is, oh, honey, I didn't mean to do that. And especially in the moment, especially when my little guy is really upset, the first thing I realize I pause and I have to say, you're right. I did. I spilled your whatever Legos or knocked it over. I did. I broke that,
Yeah.
And then try to bring it back. But it is not instinctive to do that because I do feel bad,
And I mean, you can include I meant well, or that was not my intent, but it has to be hand in hand with, but I still broke the egg. So, I mean, you can still say, maybe you did mean well, maybe that wasn't your intention, but if it still causes hurt, you also have to add I know I still broke the egg, though. I know I was still in the wrong.
Right.
But when it's I meant well, or that was not my intent, and that's it, then it's like, well, okay, there's no accountability there at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's, the name of the meme. It says right there.
Okay, Lynx would like to know, Chris. Lynx said, I'd be interested in knowing Chris's view on this. If you have a partner and he or she is in the room alone, oh, good idea, is in the room alone, okay, because I know you do have a partner, and vulnerable, who would you feel they are safer with? Like a random man or a random bear? Because it does goes, oh, yeah, so that's the first part. And then, Lynx, I really appreciate you participating. Then we jumped around. I jumped around, Chris. Yeah. I didn't check the comments before I jumped into the meme. So, yeah, Chris, what's your thoughts when you think of your partner and she's, in a space? Would you rather her come upon a bear or a random guy?
Probably a random dude. As weird as that sounds. And I know that's a different perspective, but I mean, if you're talking the pool of all guys, yes, there are guys out there that do these not so good things and that are abusive, and I don't think it's the majority of them. I do think that the majority of bears would probably try to kill someone in that situation, and so I would probably go with the least. I like to play the numbers and the percentages, and to me, I still think it would be a higher chance of something bad, including death, if it's the bear. I know that's not the point. I'm just saying from a logical view of this. But if it's a guy, there's a better chance it's going to be a good dude who would, or at least a not an abusive person. I try not to think most people are bad. And so if I'm going with the majority, I think it would probably be better if there was a human there, and hope that they're not going to be like that, rather than, I'm pretty sure any bear would probably try to, if not defend itself, go after you at some point. So I don't know. That's why I was saying earlier that I'm not necessarily on board with that whole man versus bear thing, although I do get it, because that's the only way my brain can see it.
Right. Okay, here, let me take you out of this environment that we live in here in this country. Let's go to another country where women are not allowed to show anything but their eyes, you know. They can be rocked to death for, you know, not obeying their husband. And say you and her at a hotel and you're going to go out to some park, and for whatever reason you have to step away or whatever. Would you rather her come upon a bear then, or one of the possibly very aggressive anti-female, you know? Like that's the perspective to put things in, you know? Would probably be a totally different answer, wouldn't it?
I hear you. Yeah, it would be a little bit.
Well, yeah, but you know, homework. I'd be curious, Chris, if you wouldn't mind, if you get a chance to spring this upon any female that you have in your life, and see what they say. I'm just really curious, and I will take that homework myself. Okay, Links is a saying at the let's see. Oh, with the religion one. Okay, should I go back to it? Links says that that goes both ways, though. Don't push things their religion doesn't follow. Yep. And like I said, at the same time, I'm finding that most people do not want to stop and listen to a person who is, we're on the accountability thing. So at the same time, I'm finding that most people do not want to stop and listen to the person who is saying it's not my intent. And are you always this way with your mess ups, though? Do you apologize every time, like the egg meme? So yeah, I guess with the accountability thing, one of the big things I would say, are you okay if I share first?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's so huge. I've found in my space, I apologize once. You know, for me, there's another word called amends. So, you know, when it's an apology because I did something, whether it was intentional or unintentional, but I hurt somebody, you know, whether, you know, like the egg is just an analogy. I apologize because I mean it, and I genuinely have processed my wrong in that. You know, I'm talking about big picture here. I'm not knocking over the Legos. But that's it. And for me, taking the time to pause and reflect and make that apology and mean it, not say it just to appease, you know, my parents or whoever, but to mean it. I apologize once, because I found that Lynx is bringing up a good point, is that I found people in my life that would take that apology or that amends and use it against me and bring up the past again and, you know, justify their, you know, behavior that was unhealthy or toxic or hurtful because of something that I had done in the past, even though I had already made that apology. So my go-to is I have that awareness. I take that time to make that apology. So if somebody brings up something that I know I apologize for, that's a red flag for me to end that, you know, kind of put a pause on that conversation or that relationship. What is your thoughts, Chris?
I mean, I'm looking at what Link said about, is this, do you apologize every time, like the egg meme? And I kind of got to thinking about that. And think, yeah, I really do. I try to make sure that if my intent wasn't to hurt, that I communicate that, but also to communicate that I know, regardless of what my intent was, that I hurt you, that I broke the egg. And I think that that's also an important part. So would I say, do I apologize every time, like the meme? I try to. I don't think anybody would probably be 100% on that, but I do think that that's the most respectful way to try and be apologetic.
Yeah.
I do know what you're saying, though, too, about the people not wanting to stop and listen, because I think a lot of people, when they get hurt, just kind of see red for a while, and it doesn't matter what else comes along with it. You know, all you know is that you've been hurt. And so a lot of things can go in one ear and out the other when you're not in a calmer frame of mind, or if you feel slighted or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think whenever there's a situation that if you've been hurt or done the hurting, it is important, like Link said, to you got to listen. You got to listen. You got to hear both sides, and you got to at least, come to a understanding where this is what we agree on, this is what we disagree on, but I understand that neither of us want to hurt the other. So, now what can we do?
I agree. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that is we are already at an hour. So, Chris, is there any final thoughts? Any final, again, this is like a pilot. Bridges, I don't think I've had an episode out or even done this in so long that I feel really rusty with this. But, Chris, here we go. I would like to apologize for my lack of communication up to the 5 minutes before the show. And I mean that. I take full responsibility. And I'm going to leave it there because I can tell you all the reasons that,
I know.
I'm
you
following.
Got busy life. You got busy life, and I know that. I ain't mad at you. I get frustrated sometimes, but I ain't mad at you.
Thank you.
You got kids. You got stuff. I know you got stuff going on, so you don't need to explain it. But no, I do appreciate that. This is just my very first podcast, and I'm learning, and so I like to be as prepared as I can. So hopefully next time I'll be a little bit more talkative and enthusiastic.
Well, and you know what? I didn't, it was selfish of me. I did KISS Recovery 101. I think it was at least a full year and a half every single week. So for me, I wasn't stressing about, all the things. I didn't even consider the fact that you never done a podcast and what that would look like. And I imagined that it would have taken me 2 seconds to check my phone and see if you were trying to get a hold of me. However, I would like to share an experience that I had. Do you know what? Oh, I did already kind of tell you, but nobody else knows about this. Do you know what morels are? The fancy mushrooms? Okay. So I just found out what they last year. There's a couple of my friends were talking about how they go on these hiking trips and they go find them because they're hard to find, they're rare. I'm like, cool, where is it? Oh, they wouldn't tell me where they were. And then one of my friends finally showed me what the heck they look like, these mushrooms, right? And they're so this and that. So anyway, I was picking up some rocks in my yard last night, just getting ready because I'm going to have to mow the lawn here soon. And I saw a mushroom. Now, I immediately took a picture, sent it to my 2 friends that I know are those, I want to say morel, whatever. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Mushroom hunters. And I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it was what it was. Here's what's interesting. It's a great analogy for my life, Chris, where I've been renting at and been here for 7 years. I didn't know what I didn't know, Chris. I didn't know how valuable these mushrooms were. And because of my fear in the past, I was told mushrooms are poisonous. So I'd run them over with the lawnmower, not thinking of not realizing how valuable and, wanted they are. I would say it's kind of a great analogy. I've had the spiritual experience that I talked about actually this morning when I went to my new meeting that I've been going to, and I talked about how it's kind of a great analogy for me before recovery, before I found this space of, realizing my worth, realizing my value. And now I can look back at my previous, how I was in the past. I used to have a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, but I can give myself grace because I didn't know what I didn't know. And now that I know what I know about myself and how to, empower myself and build my confidence and stuff, now I take more value and care in myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
I should create a little meme with the mushrooms, and I'll know what it means. Okay, but I want to say thank you to Brave Links for participating so much. I really appreciate that. There's so many folks that I could see other viewers. I could see the little eyeballs. It shows me that on my side. It's okay. You don't need to interact, but I really appreciate the people that do. Put yourself out there. And Chris, future reference, is there anything you want to have to say or be ready for or try out before our next episode? If there's a next episode?
I don't know yet. I mean, there are, but I don't know what they are yet.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, what's beautiful is I did get to try out some of the gadgets. I'm so glad that we did get that video to work. If you get any music that's copyrighted free or from your friends, I encourage you to bring that to the table. But now I realize we do have video clip. That is going to be a great technology I would like to bring to the table. So, okay. Well, have a good night, Chris. Have a good night, listeners. And
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
if you catch this later, please comment. Give me the feedback. So I was just telling Chris about this. I want you to hurt my feelings. If I sucked, if I said something, it's a learning opportunity. Tell me the truth. Everybody have a great rest of your Sunday, a great rest of your week, and I encourage you all to level up. Level up.
Level up.